ceremonial center, because the expression Huaca means sacred place. This complex was not built by the Incas. It was built approximately in the year 500 AD to be one of the most important ceremonial centers of a pre-Inca civilization called Lima culture. The Lima culture settled in the Peruvian central coast around the years 200 AD to 700 AD. And unlike the Incas, the Limas didn't adore the sun, but they adored the sea. That's why when you were in the small yellow building in the museum, you maybe saw some figures of sharks, waves of the sea lions, on potteries and also on textiles. It's because the sea was their main divinity. It was the Mamacocha. It was the Quechua name given to the sea in that time. Mamacocha means mother sea in that language. Huaca Pucllana is divided in squares, rooms, and also in this pit construction. We have a pyramid. There is here a pyramid of approximately 25 meters of height, where the part on top is flat and where the inner part is solid. There are no tunnels, for example, chambers or spaces inside. The part on top was used for having the main rituals to adore the spirit of the sea. And please follow me. Technique. It's called bookshelf because you can see presence of small mud bricks placed in vertical position, united by layers of mud above and below, but not in between. This technique called bookshelf because the bricks look like books, is an anti-seismical wall. When there are earthquakes or tremors, the spaces located between the bricks absorb the vibration or shock, while the position of the bricks in vertical form gives to the wall flexibility and also more balance. That's why the walls don't crumble or collapse. And you can see this technique everywhere in this complex, and please follow me to see the next part. We have the same here, another more wall that we can see a wall where this part is original and that those small parts are restored parts. Some of the walls, this is the original part, yes. When we found the walls, most of them used to be in this condition, broken or eroded, and well, we have to put restoration. But we only restore the walls, we don't make reconstruction in general in the walls of this archaeological site. This part has restoration, but the rest is all original. For example, this wall is original. This wall has approximately 3 meters, 50 centimeters of height. It's all original, and even you can see presence of some remains like seashells. Don't forget that the bricks were made of seashells, stones, small stones, and also mud. They even use straw, for example. Straw was used in other buildings, not in this temple. This wall continues, so you will see more remains. Activities, not the space was also an area of government, and well, here we have a square used before by the Limas to trade. So before, people also gathered here to practice barter, to exchange products, not for commercial things. And this square has original and restored walls. For example, wall cover now. We don't have spaces.
So the original one was smaller, and then they just kept expanding and expanding.
Yes.
Wow.
The original part, for example, the first period is the last part of the pyramid, that is the one that is closer to an avenue called Angamos,
Right.
Really far from here, and that's the first period of building, and then they build more and more platform on top of the old ones. You can also see more walls built with the same technique, where we have original walls here, and on top we have the restoration, the restored walls. In the restoration, the bricks are straighter, and there are no presence of trapezoidal forms. Remember that the trapezoidal forms were part of the structure, and that kind of design gives to the wall more flexibility. It's to give more flexibility to the walls. The holes are not doors because remember that this pyramid is all solid. The holes separate the buttresses of the pyramid. We have one buttress and more buttresses separating the whole structure.
How long's the what would you call it?
The
Renovation?
The project of excavation.
Yeah.
Well, we've been working for about 30 years.
Wow.
30 years.
So before 30 years, it was just here. Nobody was digging.
Before the excavation, the place was covered. Used to be all covered.
Oh, so they didn't know that this was here.
No, actually they did.
Covered with what?
Covered with, for example, the materials you will see when you go up to the on that bridge. You will see stones and soil too.
Ah, yeah.
Yes. But before there was enough knowledge about the existence of this place. The Spanish people, for example, knew this place when they arrived here to Peru in 1522. When they came here, they knew about this place, and also when there were trials in the Spanish times, where of the owners, they mentioned this place. No, they mentioned this place. Much bigger because across the road over there you can see another more remain. Huaca Pucllana used to be 3 times bigger, but unfortunately the lack of protection from the state to rescue archaeological sites made this big problem. A lot of houses were made on top of the remains of this archaeological site, but fortunately now we have research and study, and this research, for example, will finish in maybe 20 or 30 more years. Remember that this place was in general a temple and a place of government. Maybe there were settlements, houses, yes, but located on the outskirts of this place. By the way, we have other places to see on this pyramid. We can see squares and rooms, and please follow me. We can see a square where there are a lot of halls. All those halls were opened by the Lima people to put offerings to honor the gods and their ancestors too. And we can also see a painted wall where the color is yellow, was used like a symbolism of the moon, and it was also symbolism of fertility and femininity. They use a mineral called limonite to, for example, to paint the walls. And in the halls we found remains like textiles, pottery, seashells, remains of sharks as well, shark teeth, shark cartilages, etc. All the halls you see here were opened by the people of that time. The archaeologists only uncovered this place.
Sin tu amor no sé qué hacer, por tu amor me voy a morir. Por tu amor no sé qué hacer, sin tu amor voy a morir. Sin tu amor no sé qué hacer, por tu amor voy a morir.
For example, we have here a hall. In this hall, we found some remains of tombs. The tombs here belong to the Wari culture, which is another civilization that arrived around the years 700 AD and that conquered the Lima people and used the highest parts of the pyramids of this civilization like cemeteries. So when they died, they, for example, put the body in fetal position. Then the body was covered with textiles and with ropes. And then on top of the tomb they put a mask to represent what they used to be, members of the elite, members of the high class.
Que anoche estuviste conmigo, dile que anoche estuviste conmigo.
Another wall with two more burials, and well, you can see that the burials were opened just 3 years ago. And you can see, for example, that we don't have mummified people, we only have tombs. The tombs, for example, were about an important weaver and a fisherman of the Wari culture. The Wari culture destroyed on purpose this Lima wall, this Lima temple wall, in order to desecrate this place. And we also found the sacrifice of children. 1, 2, and 3 remains of sacrifices of children or babies done at the moment of the burial. Do you have any questions? Well, we have some pillars. Some pillars. There was a roof before, and well, here in this place they gather to adore the sea. As you can see in that recreation, people are bringing food, people are having a big feast, and they are also wearing symbols related to the sea. Especially, for example, those people wearing symbols representing sharks. Well, so this is not original, this is a replica, but we found the original ones in the same position, in the same place 3 years ago. And we will see the next place. You can also see we are in front of that element.
Is this what it looked like before you started the excavation? It was when you said it was covered, it was like that over there.
It used to look like this.
Yeah.
Were the only birds that Limas raised before, and we also have other famous animals. We have alpacas.
They use their hair, don't they? Clothing.
We use the wool for
wool.
Yes, made for clothing. Just for
Alpacas.
alpaca and llama, both animals.
The same thing, are they?
No, I think llama has a strong wool. It's not a lot commercial, but you can also make clothes from alpaca llama wool. Well, llama is physically stronger than alpaca. Llamas are bigger, they have longer necks, and also their mouth or muzzle is longer. This white animal is the llama, the other ones right there are alpacas, and the white animal close to the chicken wire is a pacoyama, which is a mixture between a llama and an alpaca. This is a
Alpaca, llama, and alpacas.
and alpacas, yes.
Do they eat them?
In that time, you mean people ate alpacas and llamas.
Now?
Now, sometimes we eat alpaca meat, but also you can find people eating llamas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guinea pigs.
Yes.
They used to breed them as
For
well.
eating, people have eaten guinea pigs during millenniums in Peru. We still eat guinea pigs. This is normal. Here in Peru is normal. In other countries, they are pets only. And we have maize, we have beans,
Tomatoes.
tomatoes, yes. We have here gooseberries.
What is it?
This is a guayman. It's a yellow gooseberry, very sweet, and it's very common now to find.
And these are all the foods that the lemurs used to grow.
Yes, well, we show here some of the plants they used to cultivate in that time.
And you found evidence of that as you were doing the
In
dig.
the archaeological remains and the waste of banquets they had, the archaeologists found the remains. workers of the Lima culture here making mud bricks. They are elaborating mud bricks. This person is mixing the materials, the mud, the stones, and the seashells.
And that's about the size they were?
It's yes, it's the typical size they had. That was between 1 meter 45 to 1 meter 60 centimeters.
Yeah.
They were small. They mixed the materials and then they made the bricks using their hands, as you can see in that part. And finally, the bricks were just put on the ground to be dried by the sun. The bricks were not fired or baked in ovens. And by the way, actual remains of footprints.
How does the water not wash all this away? It's rain?
Because technically in Lima we don't have rains. We don't have hard rain. We have drizzle sometimes in winter season. But the last time we had a bit rain was in 1970. 1970, yes.
Amazing.
Because this place is considered a desert. Yes, we found this river, Riman River. This place would be a desert, no population. There are some parts of the coastal area that are deserts, big deserts, no rains at all. And well, this is you can see the worker, the footprints, and the way they wore when they made the bricks. They use loin clothes and they cover their heads.
How old would that footprint be?
Well, the footprints here belong to the last years of building. Maybe they were done around the year 700 AD approximately. Maybe. Culture lasted just 500 years.
Yeah.
500 years, and the Lima culture, when they were conquered by the Wari culture. And then the people of the Lima culture assimilated to the new culture, to the Wari culture.
Right.
The Waris were here during 300 years, and then there was another culture called Ichma that arrived and occupied this valley. And finally, the Ichmas that were between 1000 to 1460 were conquered by the Incas. So you can see that the Incas came here many years later.
After, yeah.
After, yes. We have here some people too of the Lima culture. There is a priest. He holds a stone, and he's going to break the pottery with that stone. He's going to destroy the pottery like an offering to adore the king. And the symbol you see on the pottery represents a shark. That's a shark. They for example, offer potteries like a way to get blessings from their gods, like a way to express gratitude every time they build new parts or new rooms. When there was the remodeling of a place in this temple, they broke potteries. That's why when the archaeologists opened some rooms, they found lots of fragments of potteries, but not common potteries. They found potteries with those characteristics. For example, with special symbols. We found organic materials in the fragments, and with other characteristics that say that those potteries were made for the ceremonies only.